Welcome back. Fired up. Game week. A few days out and really, really excited. It's been a long time coming. We put in a lot of work since the close of last year, and our guys have done a fantastic job of doing things that we need to do to raise the bar in Chapter 2. So I'm fired up, and we're ready to get after it this week. Good to see somebody else, see another jersey. Good to get back in Allegiant. Good to be back with our students and community and city and get the fans engaged of something we're pretty excited about starting. And this season's right here, and it's on us, finally here. And guys are excited. Guys worked hard. It's been a good training camp. And looking forward to be back in our house. And a noon kick, daytime. Awesome. Can't wait.
Coach, how important is it to set the tone with this game for the upcoming season? And is this game, is the approach more about the Rebel way than who's lined up on the other side of the football?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's really important to start off on the right foot. I know I'm excited to see. We've got a lot of new faces, and there's going to be some live football, and there's going to be some adjustments, which I'm excited about making. I think the thing you try to do getting close to that first game as you lead into it is make sure that the core principles and foundation of what you need to do situationally and what you need to do assignment and technique-wise are built. Because there's going to be some things that change that we don't know. There's a new staff there as well, so we're putting together some tape from a couple different places. I think those type of adjustments are something that sometimes fall under the note line. You got a brand new staff up there. We're trying to get as much information as we can on what they're doing. We got brand new staff here. I think in almost every department, I've got some new heads of department, so I'm excited to see them communicate and work together with our players. We've got new faces on the field that'll be standing next to each other. And the first game is about us. And really, at the end of the day, I think if you get a chance to make all the games about what you do when you're playing, you make adjustments to who you're playing. You make calculated assignments and game plans based on who you're playing. But at the end of the day, there's certain standards and goals that I think if your culture and your program have, and they hang their hat on them, you got yourself a real chance.
You've got Doug Brumfield and Harrison Bailey both listed code number ones in the depth chart. Who is going to start the game on Saturday?
Yeah, we won't know that yet. We're going to go to practice, and once we get Saturday at noon kickoff, you'll have a guy out there in the game. But both those guys done a great job in camp. They'll continue to share reps this week for the majority of what we do. I know everyone wants those answers all the time at every level. Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be the guy? I think it's all clickbait, but you got some game planning stuff in there and all the other stuff that comes with that. The dynamic of one of the guys versus the other guys a lot of times, wherever you're at, sometimes plays into it. But both those guys have done a great job, and Cam is no slouch right behind him. He's another guy that we're excited that's right there ready to go. So both those guys will play a significant part in the one's reps this week.
Yeah. Coach, Brandon Steele from Franchise Sports Media
Hey, Brent.
Interning. Reflecting on where this team was last year, preparing for the start of the year, how does this energy feel different around the building and also in the preparation going into this season?
Yeah, I think there's in what we call Chapter 1 last year, the first regular season, there's a lot of stuff that you got to unpack and learn about your program. You got to learn about your coaches. You got to learn about the dynamics of what the DNA is and what you want it to be. And there's a ton of work. I mean, dirty, hard work to get that done, get guys' mindsets and get the standards set to where your guys can compete day in and day out. And I don't just mean it on Saturdays. You win games on Saturdays, Monday through Sunday through Friday. You really do. The way you practice, the way you prepare, the way your body type is, the way your mindset is. I mean, all those things have played into how we've tried to develop the foundation of what we do. And I think the thing that we are going to springboard off of is the way that we played and competed in the games last year versus tenured programs, championship programs in our conference. And I really, really stand by that. I really enjoyed the fact that our guys stayed together in those games. They fought. They were in one-score games with teams that have had a lot of experience together, man. And we've used that for sure as gasoline to get us going. We've also used it as a reminder for a chip on our shoulder in regards to it only takes a couple plays here and there. And that 2 to 3% of those games, it's 70 plays. That's 2 to 3 plays. And you flip a couple of those in those games, and that's the difference. And so we spent a real long time, turning over everything we can in regards to mind and body and ball to get guys to understand what it's going to take. And I think 4 weeks of off season, another spring ball, a chance for guys to add in new guys to 30 new guys to the roster, depth. size, talent, time. I mean, it's all played itself out in this second go round, and I've been really excited about the togetherness of this team, what they look like, how they sound, what the locker room's like. I mean, that's going to tell you a lot. And then the next thing's going to be when you get some friction point and some failure, and that's when, and not just failure overall, failure maybe just in one point of a game, and how guys react, how they respond. And so far, I think that we're getting what we want. I think they've got a bond and a togetherness and a mindset that really matches what we're trying to get done.
You have Aiden Robbins listed the starting running back. What are we going to see? What are you kind of expecting from those guys? What are their roles going to be in the offense? The running backs, obviously, this first game in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, for you guys who've seen camp, you guys have had a month of camp. You've got a ton of film and footage and us talking about it. You've seen a new guy come in. You've seen a guy who can carry the ball, who can work all downs. A big guy who's more explosive than we probably anticipated. Who can catch the ball out of the backfield probably better than we anticipated. Does a really nice job with some traits in regards to what he can do when he gets in some open space. He can make you miss probably more than we probably anticipated as well. But him and Courtney and Chad, those guys, along with the rest of the committee there, Jay Vaughns and Sammy Greens, they've done a good job. They know what the shoes they got to fill with losing Charles. And if camp was any indicator of what Aiden's going to be able to do for us, we're excited about that, especially starting Saturday.
With you have Preston Nichols listed at the starting left guard. Kind of, I know you guys kind of rotated that slot around. What stood out to him? What stood out to you about him that you guys put him there right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's an experienced guy who comes as a transfer. He actually played 2 years ago next to Davion. They were college teammates. There's a good connection there. There's some chemistry. They've heard each other. They're good friends. He's obviously got traits. We didn't recruit guys because they're friends. It just adds to the element of being able to have the gel in the offensive front that great teams need. He's done a really good job coming in to the program, being a piece of it. An experienced guy, mature, strong. We talked about at one point during camp through many of us here, the development of the O-line, how it's a developmental position. He's played in games. His body's built for the durability for big football. And so he's done a great job. I'm excited to see him get in there and mix it up.
Coach, what film did you watch? Because Charlie Regal was the special teams coach at Cal with Coach Hayward, right? What did you watch? What type of film did you watch? It's an inexperienced offensive coordinator, too.
Yeah, no, we've got quite a smorgasbord of clips that we're going through in regards to who's where and what we think we can see. We're trying to make sure we're not taking for granted anything. We got as much film as we could collect from where guys' last stops are to kind of put together what we think they're going to do. And like I said, there's going to be some adjustments. We got to be able to see what they're going to put out there. Those things are exciting it can be exciting. They can also be interesting when you try to put things together and figure out what they're going to do. But I think it goes back to the question you asked earlier. We got to do what we do. We got to run our offense. We got to be able to communicate and adjust. We've got to be able to understand how we block certain looks. We're not in the business of an offense of the week. We put in a program and a philosophy that teaches it from the bottom to the top, and then we obviously add layers to it when you get an opponent. So whether it's 4 down or 3 down or 3 or 1 or 2 or 6 or pressure team, 0, ammo, saw, will, cat, trap, whatever, we got to have you ready to roll. You guys get all that?
Speaking to that specificity of opponent, how much do some coaches go in with a script of what they want to call to start a game? How much are you planning, and have you already thought, like, you're excited, I got 20 plays ready to go, or it's just the sequencing to start the game? Do you already have an idea of what you want to do when you guys get the ball in week 1?
Yeah, there's a few things that we head into week 1 with coming out of training camp. Again, we transitioned from the end of training camp of really putting the offense and defense in to now transitioning to opponent and really breaking down what we think they're going to do. And then you start to hammer home some ideas and things you like based on what your core offense is and what you've got installed and implemented and what you do. We're not there yet for openers or exact third downs or red zone calls or those things yet. We'll get to those this week. We've been starting this morning early, but we'll have a clean list.
On defense, we saw you guys kind of rotate a lot of guys in that starting lineup. How, we're going to see more of that, a lot of rotations, and how are
Well, I think collectively, I think we see a group that we're going to put out there to start with that I think has done a good job on camp of building their chemistry. Some of them, these guys have been together a long time. Some of these guys are in new positions. You know, Elijah Shelton's going to be out there with that group for the first time in a game, but he's done a great job at training camp and off season. I mean, guys like Noel and Jeray. Jeray practiced all last year with us. Was here all camp. They've got Cam Oliver. They've heard each other plant. They've heard each other before. Now they haven't played in this defense before. They haven't heard the adjustments from down top from Bruno to Hayward to you know, Coach Bojay, and those are new pieces too. I'm excited for that. I think that you're going to find out a lot about how much we've grown, and we'll find out a lot about how much we've grown, obviously, when we get into it. But those guys have done the guys that we'll throw out there have showed the most chemistry, and then you've got on both sides of the ball, you've got one or two, three guys that you're hoping to get into there to kind of see how we can integrate into it. You know, I think that's hopefully, you know, in the course of early in the season, you get a chance to see what you really got in some of these guys. And so I'm excited for that group to get out there and play. The group we'll put out there first has done a good job.
You mentioned chemistry and guys that have played together, been here for a while. How's that chemistry and guys being in the program, you know, now? How have you seen that impact, you know, the preparation for week one, you know, in terms of differences from last year?
You know, there's something to be said for all of us. When you're around people for a certain amount of time, there's a certain comfort level and a certain confidence and a certain humility about working together and being and being calculated and being in an environment that's got high standards and demands a lot of you. There's something to that after you do that a long time with somebody. You begin to put down, to kind of lower your guard, and you're okay to ask certain questions. You're okay to screw up fast and not feel like you don't know that person well enough to where, you know, there's not enough humility in the room to where you can make that mistake and people want you to and guide you back into it. I think that's if there's anything we've done in a year, it's been that. It's that type of mindset. It's a group that's that communicates really well together in comparison. They know how we prepare. I mean, all that in the first year, I mean, you got to remember, it's like no different than any of us. You get to show guys where to park and where the light switch is and how to put on stuff and where we line up to stretch. And, I mean, there's a lot to it. This is you know, we fly 747s these games. There ain't two-seaters, man. There's a lot of moving pieces. And I've just been so fired up about the way that guys have been able to let us coach new things. And guys I've really opened up to each other and really have seen each other grow together. And I think that's what hopes to play out as we get into the season.
Would you prefer to have whoever your starting quarterback ends up being, would you want them to play the entire game, or do you have a plan to work in more than one guy, or how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, Mike, no plan for that yet. Obviously, guys will be prepared to play because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, our example last year, you got to stay healthy. You know, got to stay healthy. Number one, if you get an opportunity to work some guys in and you have planned reps for them, and you get in the course of the game, then great. But our plan is to go out there and be as efficient as you can, be effective, produce, minimize self-inflicted negatives. I mean, that's a big part of game one for a whole team. Anyone who's going to play this week, you're going to hear it from every coach is going to blast it out. Don't beat yourself. You know, it's going to have special teams, kicking game, taking care of the ball, negative plays, penalties. Those are all the things you want to see guys do well, and that's no different at quarterback. If we get a chance to get guys extra rotations at any position, then fire up. That'd be great. But we want to see the guys out there produce. Sweet, you got it.
Austin, can you talk about how the defense has progressed from spring camp until now?
Yeah, the emphasis for the whole spring ball was just getting comfortable with the playbook and establishing some depth within the twos and threes. And, you know, this summer and then going into the fall camp, we've been really focusing on just enhancing that and making sure that, you know, we're not only just one deep, but we could play two deep and even three deep in some positions. So just, you know, just the knowledge of the playbook and playing together is the main thing that Coach Hayward always stresses is, you know, everyone does their 1/11th, everyone does their part, and then that's what makes the defense come together.
Kyle, how important was it to play ones versus ones throughout this fall camp?
It was very important, you know, it's just a competition level, you know, just us every day competing. I know it gets tiring sometimes, ones going against ones, but at the end of the day, when you see it, it's like they're ones for a reason, you get what I'm saying? So we're competing at the highest level. It's just getting us ready for game day. So we're, like, used to everything.
Kyle, Coach Arroyo wouldn't name a starting quarterback. Do you have any inside info that you can tell us who's going to start the game?
My lips is sealed. But I just know that each quarterback has a potential of starting. You know, they compete every day. You know, they're all hard working. They all show traits and characteristics of being a starter. So, to be honest, even if I had an answer, I don't have a guaranteed answer.
Austin, can you kind of talk about the depth on that defense? I know you touched on, but can you expand on that more and how that, having that rotation, how that can help you guys throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean the depth was built throughout the offseason with the coaches recruiting and everything, and then as players we took it on to make sure that the people who just got here are up to speed and ready to play when the ball snaps. So just going throughout the summer and spring ball and even parts of fall camp is just developing those players and giving them the confidence to know that they can go out there and they're capable and they're here for that reason. So just establishing, like I said, 2s and 3s, and you know, the way football is, the starters now, the starting 11 probably won't be the starting 11 at the end of the season. Just injuries and rotation and just how the flow of the game. So having that 2 and 3 deep is important.
Kyle, what stood out to you about Ricky White and Jeff Weimer for them to come in and work their way up at the starting receiver spots?
It definitely showed a lot. You know, a lot of people come in and they feel like some things are just supposed to be given to them because of what they get told. But they personally just put their head down and work. They don't talk too much. Off the field, they're just complete hard workers, and that also motivated me and pushed me to even get more out of myself, you know, so we could become the best receiver group in the country.
Kyle over here. Also kind of piggyback and talking about the wide receiving core. You got a lot of new faces on with you on the field now. In one word, how would you describe this new wide receiving core for UNLV?
Electrifying.
What did you guys kind of see? I know Coach talked about it, you know, trying to find tape and piecing that together at Idaho State. What have you guys kind of learned about your opponent so far?
So we started diving in yesterday with their offense, and you know they got a whole new staff and a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator and everything. So watching their film from last year is only helpful to understand like the players, but in terms of the scheme and everything, we go back and we watch some of the film of where the coaches came from and the offense they run there to get an idea of what to expect, and then throughout the week, kind of just doubling down on their tendencies and different formations and what that gives away, and then by Thursday, Friday, we have like a really good idea of what to expect, and then going on Saturday, just putting it all together.
How has the linebacking core come together with the addition of Elijah Shelton on the edge?
It's been really good for us. He's he's a great fit for the defense and in the locker room as well. He gets along with the guys, and you know it feels like he's been here a lot longer than he really has just because of that. But you know, Elijah's been progressing every single day from day one of fall camp to the last day. He's just been getting better and better and making more plays. So I'm really excited to play with him.
How does this, lead up in preparation to technically week 0, but how does it compare to, last year, the preparation lead up to game 1?
I feel like we're more, for an individual standpoint, from like the offense and just the whole team, we're just more in tune and to like getting film and everything. You know, last year we were just more focused on the coaches giving it to us, but like we're doing film studies on our own to get advantages on the team that we need, and it just shows that like more of the game is mental. So us focusing on the film piece is like we're more locked in.
I had asked Coach about the importance of this game to set the tone for this season. Can each of you address that and talk about how important it is to get off on the right foot and then build momentum for the start of the season?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about starting fast, whether it's a drill, whether it's a practice, or whether it's a season. So for us, just establishing ourselves and our identity, we talk about EDCT, effort, discipline, commitment, and toughness. Just establishing that with the first game so we can carry on for the rest of the season. I think how you start anything will tell you a lot about how the season will go. So how we come out is going to display what we are about, not only as a defense, but as a team in general.
For me, it's just I don't really to say too much, but starting fast is really big for us. You know, like we've always had to think about starting slow, and then we just can't finish. You know, last year, so our big emphasis was starting fast and then finishing strong. So it's like those games where it came down to that last play or that one drive, or that we're just more in tune and we're connected to see like we could do this. We have what it takes to finish.
Anything else? Austin, what's your excitement level to start the season? You know, after the spring camp, now you're just a few days away from kickoff. Just what are you feeling?
Excited, like you said. You know, this is what we've been waiting for. I've been preparing a little bit longer because my season ended shortly last year. But since the last game, since the Air Force game, we've just been putting our head down to the ground and just working. And, you know, it says a lot about our character as a team. It's not about, I mean, we talk about it a lot, but it's not about how you feel. Those 6 a.m. workouts, those long nights of studying, and it's easy just to get wrapped up and caught up in, you know, I don't feel like doing this, or is it all going to be worth it, or, you know, but that's not our attitude, and that's not the mindset that we take on as a team, and that's what makes me most excited for the season, is because whether you want to do it, whether you think it's going to work, whatever the case is, you know, we just lock in and we put our head down and we grind, and we kind of take the emotion out of it, and that's the approach that I take on it every day, every single day. That's the approach my teammates take, and it's given us the best offseason so far. So I'm just really excited for what we're going to do this year, and just this game in general. I'm just excited to take the field again and to compete with my brothers and just to run around and make plays.
Guys, just simple question for you. Any pregame rituals you're taking into the first game that sort of set the tone for the rest of the season?
You want to go first?
I mean, my pregame ritual is just a bag of Skittles. Just give me a bag of Skittles and you're gonna see the best. But no, I just like to be locked in. You know, I listen to like one artist, young boy, and then I just be ready to just win. You know, just kill whoever in front of me. You know, mama mentality. That's me.
My approach is a little different. Whatever works for you works for you. But you know, I take on like the mental part of the game, so I make sure that like I'm as clear-minded as possible before the game. Whether it's meditating like the night before, or I like to read, so kind of just drown out all the other stuff and just enhance my focus. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I like to just kind of take my time on game day, whether it's like getting ready or, you know, I don't like to be in a rush, so just getting my mindset ready and prepared, and then when it's go time, it's go time.
If I could, just a quick follow-up, anything, give us an example of something you'd like to read before?
I got a couple favorites that I've read in the past. The Power of Now, which is just about, you know, just the present moment and how do you stay present when everything around you is going crazy or whatever. Just a couple different ones. Mindfulness, just different variations of, you know, just kind of enhancing myself. You know, I recognize that this sport is kind of like life in a way that, you know, you could be mentally there, you could be physically there, spiritually there, but when you have all three and they're all working towards the same thing, that kind of makes you a complete player. So, and I take on the same approach in life too. So, you know, there's players that are there physically, but they lack the mental part, and then that makes them kind of limited. There's players that have the mental but lack the physical, and they're limited. So, you know, just combining all three of them makes you a complete player.